Hello again, welcome to the Boundary Line. We are here at Boundary Park at the start of what feels like another really big week for this great rugby league club. The chairman, Bill Quinn, is here as we build up to a game that could bring the Ruffians a step closer to Wembley. 2 games away from Wembley as it is. We're going to build up to Barrow Raiders in the quarterfinals of the 1895 Cup in just a moment and reflect on another fantastic victory in the Championship. Back-to-back wins for Sean Longside away at Sheffield on Sunday. We're going to speak to Mike Ford, get his thoughts on Wembley and Wembley memories too, plus a feature interview with Craig Kopczak. The other big story this week, the big veteran Koppy announcing his retirement from rugby league, and what a career it has been. Loads to get through, even more than I've just mentioned there, Bill. We want to talk about the RFL, changes afoot in our governing body as well. We want to talk about SportsTown. I know you've been fielding a lot of questions about that after the announcement that was made here a couple of weeks ago and what that means for us as a club. Let's start though on the pitch. A fantastic victory against Sheffield. I know you enjoyed your trip to the Steel City. Brilliant victory here against London and then backed up with more of the same against Sheffield. How did that feel for you?
Oh, it was great. I mean, it was a bit of anticipation really of, they're established Sheffield in the Championship, and they're always tough. So to go there and to come back with the victory, for me that was a real plus. That, you can't always have the 50-pointers and, the difficult away games like Sheffield, to get over them and to get the win. And what was pleasing was, the guys just did not stop for 80 minutes and, that's what gets you through the season and gets you where you want to be really with them kind of victories.
They're often more pleasing them, aren't you? Because when you turn up and you hammer someone 50 past them, you're going to win those games. When things don't necessarily click all the time and you still come away with the W, as Sean calls it.
Well, yeah, the thing is though, you sat there watching it and you're thinking, please, do not let them come in again. Do not let them come in, because, at one point, if they'd have scored that next try, then that would have been it. They'd have gone 2 points in front. Before we got the last one with Kieran Dixon. So, you're on the sort of edge of your seat but I thought the guys did brilliant, and I thought the support was fantastic again. I've got to shout out to the fans. They really, really do. They're getting the stamp of Oldham into the Championship, and, it's fantastic because, the away fans love to see us come in, the away clubs love to see us come in, you know what I mean? So it's great, Oldham's, starting to become very relevant.
Let's get into that a bit, and that's actually a really good point to start discussing some of the other matters off the pitch. You mentioned Oldham becoming relevant, so let's talk about SportsTown, because Oldham being invited into that discussion was a big thing, regardless of where we go with it and the project. And a lot of people have been coming to you and asking about what it means to Oldham. But as Mike and you said when we spoke here a couple of weeks ago, being involved in that conversation about SportsTown first of all was a sign of a big step forward for us as a club.
Yeah, before we took over, unfortunately for Oldham, it just wasn't relevant to anybody really. It was just a team playing somewhere. It wasn't really necessarily playing, as we know, let's say at Boundary Park or, established in any way. They were nomads, they were here, there and everywhere. And it's one of the things that was part of us, taking over and coming on board and looking at things, was the fact that we were here at Boundary Park. And then we had to sort the lease out, which, yes, we got a 10-year lease, and that took 6 months of negotiations and talks, and we were discussing things with the council. And then we had such a great season last season, and they could see the ambitions. The Rothwells and Darren Royal, who we have a great relationship with, they can see our ambitions. The council can see our ambitions. The RFL can see our ambitions, and that's then you start becoming relevant and you start getting to the table then on many fronts. And with the SportsTown, there's been a lot of negotiations, and I think really what brought it to the front was I actually said to the council, and I've quoted this, that we went to the council rather than them coming to us and to the Oldham Athletic, and we basically said, well, we've got to start planning now, because 10 years is a fast, look at where we've come in such a short space of time. So for us to start planning now, because without a doubt, my mind is to somehow, some way, we will build our own stadium if we're not here at Boundary Park. So if we're going to be here at Boundary Park, I want a stake in it. I don't want a 10-year lease. I want to be able to walk away from this club someday knowing that we're here forever. And that word forever needed to be in everybody else's mind as far as I was concerned. So that's how the SportsTown scenario came along, and then as the discussions furthered, it was a case of that there'd be a three-way split between Oldham Rugby, the football stroke Rothwells, and Oldham Council, and those discussions are still ongoing, and there's a lot of work still to be done. But, and I will say it right now, you know, if we're not here at Boundary Park, we will build our own stadium. I'm talking to investors, I'm talking to people that hopefully, you know, there's going to be a lot more exciting news. There's going to be a lot more things that will come for Oldham from a business point of view. And again, you know, we're just going to progress to the heights that we want to reach. And we'd like to think it's here at SportsTown when you look at the education side of it, which we're on with now, and with the medical side of it, the sports side of it. You know, this is going to be a fantastic, you know, event, an area that we're all in. So to be part of that's fantastic. But if we're not part of that, let's say for whatever reason, well, we'll make our own way, and we'll, you know, my determination is that this club will not take another step backwards.
So yeah, the key thing, I guess, just wrapping up the SportsTown bit, the fans have been asking is, this sounds great, but what does it all mean? You know, you've touched on it a little bit there, and
yeah.
I guess the key thing is talks are ongoing, and we're making it very clear where we want to be and what we want.
Yeah, we want a stake. We want a stake. If we're here, we want a stake. We don't want a lease. We don't want to be on the outside. We want a stake, and we want to have some control of our destiny. And if that's not here, it'll be somewhere else. But we will have a stake, and we will progress, and we will not take a backward step. And that's my determination. It's what me and Mike have spoke about, and the board. And I'm convinced, and more than ever, that we will get what we want. And I don't just mean here at SportsTown, that sounds quite bullish, but whether we build somewhere else, whatever we do, we will get there by one way or another. I will not stop until this club has a base forever and a foundation that will see the kids and see the future stars, you know, long when I'm pushing up daisies and everybody else, that this club will flourish. And that's my sort of determination to try and get us to that point.
Before we start our build-up to Wembley in this huge week, which we hope will bring us a step closer to that Wembley dream and Oldham side walking out at Wembley. Bill might even have to get a new suit if that happens. Who knows?
I'm having to get a new one now with all the weight loss.
You're looking good, my friend. We'll build up to that in just a moment. Mike Ford with his Wembley memories on the way as well, and that feature interview with Craig Kopczak. A couple of other things to get into, Bill, with you. Before we get on to that Barrow game, the RFL, another story off the field, all the uncertainty and the change at the top of our sport at the moment. You put a statement, or we as a club put a statement out last week, backing the change. Do you want to go into that a little bit and into our stance about the immediate future of this great sport?
Yeah, I mean, the word is change, I think. I think that's the poignant word. I mean, I came into this and I went to some of the council meetings, and I don't want to go into detail, but I was sort of astounded at certain things, and I didn't think that solutions were found, and I didn't think questions were answered, and I think change needed to happen. And as I said in my sort of statement, you know, if you keep having the same people doing the same things, why would everybody else think that there's going to be a different outcome? There just isn't. And I think the people now that have been driving this, and the people that are involved, as in Nigel Wood, etc., are the people that will create that change. And I think the fact that they're willing to listen to every club, you know, I said in my statement, and you know, people need to think about this, that all the clubs were given the opportunity to nominate somebody. It wasn't just this is what's on the table and take it or leave it. We were all asked if we wanted to nominate somebody, and we felt that there was somebody to stand up there, and ourselves and a lot of other clubs felt that Nigel was the right man for the job. And after talking to Nigel and knowing where Nigel's been and everything else, I just think that Nigel and his committee will do a fantastic job, and I do think that change will come, and it will be change for the better. And that's our stance, and we'll back that all the way.
More from Bill in just a moment. We want to talk about how you can help us. We're after some volunteers, so don't go anywhere. We'll come on to that in a moment. And ticket prices as well ahead of Barrow. We want as many of you in here on Sunday as possible for a huge game. Barrow Raiders, quarter-final of the AB Sundex 1895 Cup. Wembley is the watchword this week. Oldham have won the Challenge Cup 3 times. Never at Wembley. Can we get there? I've been talking Wembley and hearing a few memories from our Managing Director, Mike Ford. So Mike, a really big week, potentially a special week and a step closer to Wembley, which means a lot to so many people and a town as a collective.
Yeah, I don't usually get emotional about games coming up. You know, as a coach, it's just the next game, but the significance in this game with what's happened with Oldham Rugby in the past with Challenge Cup semi-finals and never appearing at Wembley, and the chance we've got this year to get there, we're 2 fixtures away, and the next one we're at home at Boundary Park, which has been a bit of a fortress, but we're playing a team that comprehensively beat us a couple of weeks ago, so a bit nervous about that, but I'm hoping it's going to be an occasion where we can get through to be 1 game away from Wembley, because we've never played there. We've been in 7 Challenge Cup finals, winning 3, and the last 4 of them finals was, you know, 1924 we lost, 1925 we won, 1926 we lost, 1927 we won. So we had 4 consecutive Challenge Cup finals, which that record stood for years and years until the great Wigan team of the 80s and 90s, until I think they went 8 consecutive times. But the most significant thing about that is that they changed the venue to the iconic Wembley Stadium in 1929, so we played in 7 finals up to that, and for the last God knows how many years, let's have a look, 75 years, we've never quite made it. You know, some famous defeats in the semi-finals. I didn't realise I was talking to Terry Flanagan. We were talking about the 1990 final when kicked through for Paul Lloyd and he got disallowed the last minute.
Cogger on the blind side, forward, the little chip, the wingman's in! He's there! No! He's given offside! Mr. Holsworth has given offside! John Holsworth has washed the try. A superb kick from forward.
Well, you've got to say that this will be talked about for a long, long time. Was he offside? Was he not? That looked very debatable to me. This could go down as the biggest talking point for a long time.
He was talking about the 86 semi-final when they played Castleford. And I think it was Bob Beamore who scored a try with his feet over the dead ball line. Well, I think the most famous one is 1957 against Hull Chiasso, which we were winning after a replay. We were winning and the floodlights went, and then we drew, and then, you know, it went to 3 games and we actually lost. The only team that to be winning a semi-final and never get to Wembley in 1957. So, you know, we're 150 years old, George, and we've just never been. So for the town, I mean, we're quite an old spectator base, aren't we? You know, for them people who've Jim Minton's dad, Bill, he's 94. You know, he were at the last time we won it in 57, the championship, that is. Like, to do it for people like him would be like, you know, so fulfilling. And, you know, I said the other night I'd die for Oldham to get to Wembley, and I mean that.
I was going to ask you if, for certain people, certain players, certain staff associated with Oldham of a certain era, it's something that stings, the no Wembley thing. I can tell just by listening to that first answer that it does.
Yeah, 100%.
Not just for you, for a lot of people.
Yeah, I mean, you saw Jordan on the boundary line last week. The first thing he got taught was that Oldham have never played at Wembley, and that, you know, if he ever gets the chance through his playing career, that's what he must do. And Jordan's now, he's very, very close. You know, he's captain of the club and he's 2 games away. We've just had a staff meeting in there, and it's different. It was different. The tension with the intensity was on a Monday afternoon, this interview, and already we're building ourselves up, because we know we've got a fantastic opportunity now, 2025, to actually realise the dream.
It's realising what's at stake. You go along, okay, who's next? It's a quarter final, okay, let's not get too preoccupied by that. But you're right, when you stop and think about it, and you delve into everything you've just outlined, what is at stake here? These are opportunities that don't come about too often to make a mark that would then last a lifetime.
Yeah, 150 years old, and we've never played at Wembley. You know, we last won the Challenge Cup in 1927. It's nearly 100 years ago. And there's something about Wembley for me, when I grew up as a kid, playing at Watershed in the red and white hoops when I was 11 years old, and then you watch these Wembley Cup finals. There's something, and Wembley was massive, weren't it? It was the pinnacle of rugby league. It still is to many, and all the grand finals now here. But the hairs on your back of your neck, as a coach, as a player in these weeks, it's what you play for. It's why you go out and compete. It's why you do what you do every week. And you know, I'll do my bit. Sean, pretty synonymous with Wembley, and he himself winning 3 Lance Todds. But him and the players will do their bit. Everyone's excited. We just need the town to get behind us. I want to create a Wembley fever this week. You know, Bill's kindly reduced the price tickets to £12 an adult from 20, which is fantastic. So let's grab hold of people and bring them down. There was an heritage evening on Friday night with Kevin Fitzpatrick doing documentaries on the Hall of Famers, and there's about 150 people in there. Die-hard Oldham rugby fans, and still some are not coming to the game. You know, so I made a point of, if we're going to do this, something that's never been done ever in the town of Oldham in terms of rugby league, let's do this together.
And that's the final point, isn't it, on that? These achievements need the support base, need the town, need the community behind, which has been a big drive for you and Bill since you've been here. The Stronger Together motto, no more powerful, I guess, than right now, because this is an opportunity to achieve something very special, and the chances of doing that will be improved by bums on seats and having that place rocking for I'm getting nervous thinking about it now, for an opportunity in a quarter-final to get to a semi-final against an opponent we owe one from the league.
Yep.
But what a chance. What a chance this is for everyone. So what would your final word be to anyone thinking, what should I do Sunday afternoon?
It's an opportunity. I've said this all along, Oldham Rugby League have got an opportunity because of its history, because of its community, because of its schools that play rugby league. And when you look back at your career, when you retire, George, when you look back at it, it's all about memories. But when you're in it, when you're in the moment, it's about how do we create new memories. And I think with the town of Oldham, together we can create a fantastic memory in 2025 of, you know, getting to Wembley for the very first time. And then we have to win it, of course, to make that memory even better. But we can do this together and create a memory that lasts forever.
So that was Mike Ford. We can't wait, Bill, to take to the field. We owe Barrow one anyway, regardless of the fact that we've got a chance to get to Wembley. Let's talk about that first of all. You've brought ticket prices down for this fixture. A really fantastic offer. If you buy before the day, £12 to come and be here.
£12 if you get to buy before the day, because we're trying to figure out what we're going to do as regards opening stands. And what people need to understand is if you open a stand, you've got all your safety procedures, you've got to have your minimum amount of stewards and, you know, paramedics and everything else. So there's quite a big cost to that. So what I would say is that we've brought it down to £12 now, and I want everyone to buy them now. But on the day, it will be £16. We are trying to discourage just people turning up on the day if we can, because we want to plan. We want to have a great day here, and it's going to be a fantastic day against Barrow.
Yeah, help us to help you. 12 quid, it's a great offer, but it's there. If you get in there in advance, you might find if you rock up on the day, it'd be a little bit more expensive than that. But just hearing to Mike how much it means, Bill, to try and get this famous club to Wembley. Have you allowed yourself that thought as well, as someone who's been through a lot with this club, what it could mean for, you know, not just Udguy, but this town, this team, this squad, everyone associated with Oldham Rugby League? What an opportunity this is.
Yeah, I mean, I was shocked, to be honest with you. I had to recheck when, you know, you look at the history of Oldham and you just think, oh, they've not been to Wembley.
Must have done.
It was just, no, I need to check this, you know what I mean? Someone's got it wrong, you know, and when you've got like John Chadwick, you know, I mean, I think John was here in 1920 something. He might have been still in school then, but anyway, and you listen to John, you know, and you listen to other people, and you know, you talk. And last week at the last game at home here, I was talking to Bill Minton, 94. I think he's one of our oldest supporters, and you know, he was just saying, wouldn't it be great if we got to Wembley? Wouldn't it be great if we got to Wembley? And you think really, it's the fans. The fans deserve it. The fans that have been supporting this club. You know, even like Bill's supported it going back God knows how many years, and a lot of other fans, but the last 28, 30 years still supporting this club through everything it's been through. And now to be able to give them that dream of getting to Wembley, wow, that'd just be, they deserve it. It'd be fantastic. Yeah,
it would. It would be unreal. It would be a very special moment. Speaking of fans, a couple of things we want to ask on our behalf of you in just a moment. We're going to pause though and hear next from a brilliant servant to Rugby League, a Super League stalwart who this week has announced his immediate retirement from Rugby League as a Ruffian. He's made a big impact in a 19-year career. He spent the last year and a bit here, and I've been speaking to Craig Kopczak. So Craig, here we are. The interview I guess a lot of players start to think about at some point but don't really want to do. It's quite a big moment in your career.
Yeah, so sadly I'm going to announce I'm going to retire with immediate effect. It's a decision that's I've been thinking about for a while now, and it's come to the point where you know, body's had enough, and mentally as well, and you know, the time's come. It's upsetting as it is, but yeah, the time's come.
Any doubts?
No, none at all. No, like I say, I've been thinking about it for a while. I'm leaving the club in fantastic hands. The team are doing fabulous, and I wish them all the very best.
We'll come on to the career you've had in just a moment. I'm more interested right now in the emotions you have when you reach a decision like this, because Rugby League has been and still is your life. So this isn't a decision you'll have come to overnight, I don't think.
No, I've been planning for it since we're about 30 really. I was at Salford, and I had a bit of an injury one time, and I just thought to myself, you know, what if this was a career-ending injury? And I thought, what am I going to do with life after rugby? So I just went to, it was a woman called Julie Measures who come in, and she had a talk, and she had sat me down and went through some things with me, and I thought, yeah, that's what I want to do when I finish rugby. So I went to, at the time I transitioned to Wakefield, and in that transition I got speaking to Stu Dickens when I was there, and he put me on into a contact for Wakefield College, and I thought, yeah, this is something I really want to get my teeth stuck into as long as I playing rugby. And I got a degree, you know, through my time at Wakefield, and credit to, you know, Stu, he really pushed me along with that, because there was some really dark thoughts at that moment in time when when you're training through the day and then I'm having to go to college at night and juggling that with family life, there were some, as well as pre-season as well. It was some really, really hard times, but I managed to see the light at the end of it, and I got my degree. I was chuffed to bits, and I thought, this is starting to progress now, life after rugby, so to speak. And once I got my degree in sports science, I thought, well, I've got that now. What more can I get? And I was thinking about it, and I was speaking to my teachers at the time, and I thought, I really enjoy working with kids and interacting out with PE, and I thought, yeah, I'd really love to be a PE teacher. I've worked with kids, throughout the community and stuff like that with rugby, and using my links there. And I went to Bury College and did another degree in teaching. So after that, I got my postgraduate through that, and yeah, I found myself falling into a private school and doing some teaching there.
You already sound like you.
So that's the kind of my story. When you say, where did you think about? It was quite a long time ago, because I keep saying to the young lads now here and at different clubs, you can't wait. You've got to be proactive. You've got to start thinking about life after rugby. It doesn't last forever. And quite a few older players have said that to me before as well. And I left it till I was about 30. But if I can give any advice to any young rugby league player out there, is to start when you're young and really think about life after rugby, because it doesn't last forever.
You've had an incredible career. It did feel, for you at least, Koppy, is that it might last forever. 19 seasons, 7 clubs, 436 appearances I counted, 50 tries, including your one for Wales against England, captaining Wales at a World Cup, finishing top of the pile, winning the league leaders in every tier.
Every tier, yeah.
Quite a CV, a very impressive CV, in fact.
Yeah, I'm hugely proud of my achievements. Again, I couldn't have done all that, without the sacrifices with my family. So many times they've had to sacrifice school holidays, etc., and they've put up with a lot of me going out to college and stuff like that. And I'm just incredibly proud of what I've achieved in rugby.
And to finish on a high, with your final club being here at Boundary Park, which is, it brought you a very happy final chapter with a stunning League One title win, of which you were a really integral part last year. Yeah,
100%. I was umming and ahhing about at the end of last year, and I thought I'd get pre-season out of the way, because I'm just a competitor. I like keep going and see how I feel after that. And I think every rugby league player will come to a stage in the mind and in the heart, and you just know when it's done. You just know when the time is right, and I just felt that my time is now. The club's in great hands. We've won some success, and the team is doing great in the league now as it is. And I just think, it was just the right time for me.
I know you'll miss being around the boys and around the place, because even though you've not been in the side this year, you've been here, you've been at training, you get involved in the banter. And we're recording this interview just before you go and tell the guys. This interview will go out after everyone knows. But how do you think they'll take it?
Probably say you could have done it one more year or whatever in centres or something, because I've been training there. And
you've wanted to play halfback.
I wanted to play halfback. I thought I might as well try and somewhere different. I think that's part and parcel of it. Is the camaraderie with the boys is what you're going to miss the most. The actual playing side of it probably petered off a little bit towards the back end. But it's just being around with the boys and the camaraderie in the dressing room and at training, like I say. That's going to be a big part that I'm going to probably miss.
Can you pick out any highlights of your career? A stunning career at the very top level. One thing that sticks in my mind when you were at Featherstone with Brian McDermott, one of the most successful British coaches we've ever had in terms of what he's won in Super League. He answered a question I asked him once about players he's coached, and he said to me, "There's one player I wish I'd have had earlier in their career, and it was Craig Kopczak."
Do you know what I said to him as well? I said I wish I had you as a coach early in my career as well.
But what a thing to say for a guy who's won so much.
Yeah, I mean, I remember as a kid, watching Bradford Northern, Bradford Bulls, the transition. I just always remember him being an absolute warhorse, and that's what I used to look up to, people like that. And it was an absolute privilege for him to actually coach me. And I always remember there was a stage in my career where I think Leeds was actually interested in me, and I was like, oh, yeah, I'll put them in an hour in. And I wish I kind of had the opportunity to be under Brian McDermott, but things, you know, happen for a reason. And I ended up going to another club and being successful. So, but yeah, what a thing for him to say, and I wish I'd have been able to play with him under him as well.
So what are you going to do with your Sundays now?
Do you know what? I'm just going to be just a dad and go watch my son play rugby, watch my little girl do her gymnastics, and yeah, just have some family time.
Well, it's been brilliant having you here, and many congratulations on what's been a phenomenal rugby league career, Craig.
Cheers, thank you.
Quite an emotional interview with Craig Kopczak. I can't imagine for any player, Bill, that announcing your retirement from a sport that's given you so much is an easy decision to make. No,
I'd say he's had many a two in a throw with his own mind there on that one. You know what I mean? He's a great guy, Craig. What a lovely man. You know what I mean? And you know, you can. As soon as we met him the first time, I thought, what a lovely guy. You know, and you can tell that he'll always give his all. But I also think he knows when it's time to stop, and when he's not capable or, you know, of giving his all, he would rather say no. The time is now, than give a substandard, you know, kind of performance to, you know, to the team and to the club. So yeah, I mean, it's sad, but at the end of the day, these things happen in sport, and you've got to keep going. But we wish him from myself, Mike, the board, we wish him well, you know, in the future, and he's always welcome here at Oldham, and it's been great having him. Yeah, very popular guy, classy operator as well. So all the very best to Craig and the family for your future. A couple of bits of other business before we leave Boundary Park for this episode, Bill. In terms of the fans, we're asking for some volunteers. We'll come on to that in a moment. We're also asking for some opinions on potentially. We're playing Sunday afternoons at the moment. We've asked, how would you feel about potentially the odd game on a Friday night? We're asking for some feedback on what people think. Yeah, we want to sort of put a survey out there. We don't want to be, you know, the kind of club that just says to fans, this is what we're doing, and without thinking about them. So we're trying to get their opinions and get a survey out there, and just to see, you know, if a Friday night is better. You know, what you've got to think of is our aspirations of going to Super League and things like that. Well, it's no good us doing it on the pitch and doing it everywhere else. Who wants to look at a team in Super League that's got a couple of thousand fans a week? You know what I mean? We've got to build that up. So if the odd Friday night here and there helps to do that and it works for people, then let's trial it, let's have a look at it. But first of all, let's see what people say. So yeah, that's what we're looking at the moment, this survey. Yeah. Let us know what you think, and absolutely guarantee you, as the man says, we will listen to you. We want to know what would work best for a lot of you, because without you guys, we're nothing here really. And in terms of how you can help us, we're going to get out and about. We're going to go old school, do a bit of flyering, leafleting, spreading the word. So if anyone wants to help, but they can't they? Yeah, of course they can. I mean, we've listened. We've asked for, you know, when I did the boundary line last time, we talked about, you know, anybody with any ideas or anything. We've had quite a few ideas, and we're implementing them with ticket prices and one thing and another. And one of them was, you know, there was quite a few people saying that maybe get some old-fashioned leaflets, drops out there to people who are maybe in the schools, wherever, that maybe they're not onto the social media as much or whatever, and they're not sort of finding out what's going on here and what a great day it is at Boundary Park. So if we can get someone, you know, contact Lynn in the office, and we could get a few volunteers, and let's get them flyers out, you know what I mean? So we'll bring them here on Sunday with us, and just hopefully that if we can get a few people sort of coming forward, we can get them out around the town, and we can see what we can do to get the bums on the seats. One other thing actually before we go that I was going to mention is we're doing a big food bank drop as well with Easter eggs, aren't we? Thanks to our great partners at Amari, which we're topping up. Anyone who wants to donate, you can do it via Amari, but also I think we're going to be collecting it at the Featherstone game, I think, coming up here as well, for the Easter eggs. Is that right? I'm not sure about the Featherstone game, but I think this Sunday might this Sunday's the last opportunity. Okay. Maybe listen to him and ignore me. I might have got that wrong. But no, so we, you know, if anyone wants to drop any of the Easter eggs, we'll have a place in the fans bar on Sunday, and they can drop them, and whatever they drop, the club's going to match that as well. You know what I mean? It's just a gesture to the food bank, and to, you know, hopefully a lot of kids out there that maybe not getting an Easter egg, etc. just doing our little bit again. That's all we want to do.
So plenty of ways that you can help us. I don't think I've forgotten anything, have I? I mean, I probably have.
I probably forgot a lot more than you, George.
But we'll leave it there because we've got to get on it. It's been great to have your company. We're building up to a huge week. As Bill says, special discounted tickets. We want to really get this place bouncing at Boundary Park this Sunday for the visit of Barrow Raiders. We owe them one. But more than that,
big one.
It does feel like the big one. Not only do we owe Barrow for our trip up there, but we've got a chance to get to the semi-finals to get within 80 minutes of Wembley. You can play your part in that as well. We hope to see you here on Sunday.